getting at with the book script? Spit that shit out, man!
Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Absolutely, I do. Excited.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
Oh my God, I did not think he was going to do that. That scared me. That actually scared me a little bit.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
And
Friend?
I gotta clear my throat.
Get it out of your mouth.
Welcome to the episode that I think we've all been waiting for since Josh has made his first appearance on the podcast. It is the Batman v Superman episode. Enough said. If you guys don't know, we have been talking behind the scenes and on the podcast about Batman v Superman and whether or not it's a good movie. It's a bad movie. Josh thinks it's a good movie for whatever reason, and I think tonight we're going to finally, hopefully, put this behind us and agree that it's a bad movie. Right, Josh?
Oh, we're absolutely not going to agree that it's a bad movie. Let's also keep in mind this is a handicap match. This is a 2v1.
It's a 2v1.
I got Edgar and Alberto ganging up on me, going against me.
This is like the scene in Justice League when Superman has to face off against all Justice League members. Josh is Superman in this scenario.
Well, I appreciate the comparison.
Not as buff, not as godly looking. Probably a little bit more older.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm just saying you're not Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, Josh. Okay.
Hey, he's no longer Superman. Leave the man alone.
That's true.
All right.
But he's gonna be Superman in all our hearts, right? At least we can agree on that.
Can we agree that Man of Steel is actually a very good movie?
No, and that's gonna be another episode. We're not gonna go ahead and talk shit about. No, you know what? We're gonna touch on Man of Steel as well, because how can you not talk about Man of Steel? How can you not have a discussion of Batman v Superman and not talk about the movie that preceded it?
Well, I think that's tough, and maybe I'm wrong. You don't like Man of Steel.
I like elements of it.
You like, Edgar likes Man of Steel.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So we can't really talk about it because...
Well, you say you like elements of it, so...
Just like you like elements of Batman v Superman.
More like Element. There's only one real thing I liked about that movie, but we'll get into it. All right. I mean, yeah. How should we begin? Josh, this is a big topic to tackle. It's been a long time. It's a long time coming.
Well, oh man, where do we start? I guess let's talk a little bit about Zack Snyder in general.
Okay, let's get into it.
Because you're not a fan, is that correct?
No, I don't think I enjoy his filmography as much as other people do. No.
And what about him? Do you is a turnoff for you?
Well, I just generally think that all of his movies are the same. And by that I mean they all end the same. They all have the same kind of premise. If you really take a step back and look at it, it's always about, like heroes and like them being like these mythological kind of like figures that always have to sacrifice themselves in the end. Every one of his movies has the same fucking ending. It's always one hero sacrificing himself for the greater good. Man of Steel with maybe not Man of Steel.
That was the dumbest comparison.
No, hold on. Batman v Superman has that.
Sure.
Justice League. Right?
No.
He doesn't die.
There's no sacrifice in the end of Justice League.
Are you serious?
Did you even watch Justice League?
No. I didn't watch
Do you even know what
League.
you're fucking talking about, Alberto?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, Josh. How does 300 end?
Was it not pulled from the comic books?
Oh, yeah, but anyone could have fucking done 300.
Visually? He also filmed that movie in 60 days. Did you know that?
He just filmed it in 60 days?
Yeah.
All right, respect on that for sure.
Okay.
No, I think it is all just visual storytelling. I don't think he
I agree
understands
with that.
characters. I don't think he knows how to write character development.
I disagree.
Really?
To a degree, I don't think it's obviously not his strong suit. He is more visual than he is obviously dialogue and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is every director that comes out. And I'm not saying I'm like the biggest Zack Snyder fan.
Right.
I appreciate what he does. I do enjoy Batman v Superman. But every director has the same their style in their movie. Okay, like for example, like for you to say that every movie is similar. Every Zack Snyder movie is similar. You're pretty much saying every Martin Scorsese movie is similar, right? Casino, Goodfellas,
Fair enough.
the Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street, right?
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, what sets him apart? He's not really that special of a director, other than his visual like.
I think he is the
storytelling.
best visual storyteller out there.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's like,
you have three types of directors, and guys, this is in my opinion.
okay. Yeah.
I'm not a movie expert. I'm not a critic, obviously. I don't get
Right.
paid. But as a fan of this aspect, I believe there are three types of directors. You have your visuals, like your Zack Snyders, your Michael Bays. You have your dialogues, your Martin Scorsese's, your Quentin Tarantino's, right? Your Kevin Smiths. And then you have your hybrid, which is kind of rare in my opinion. Your Christopher Nolan's, your
Ridley Scott.
Steven Spielberg's,
Mhm.
you know. These are directors that are both visually and dialogue impressive, you know. Zack Snyder, you have to take him for what he is, and yeah, like, do I think he's come on, the Martha scene? That is lazy writing.
Yeah.
I get that. I agree with that. You know, but do I get what he's coming from? Absolutely.
And where is he coming from?
What do you mean?
So what do you mean by like you understand where he's coming from with the Martha scene?
So the things that I appreciate about Zack Snyder is the expressions and the scenes that he puts out there that tell the story with no dialogue, right? So for example, one of the great scenes that I love and respect in Batman v Superman is that opening scene with Bruce Wayne going to Metropolis, driving in the street. You know, everybody's leaving. He's actually the only one willing to get in there. You know,
During the whole with
the
Zod
crisis with Zod, right? And what's amazing about that scene as well is that, and I'm going off another subject, obviously, is it's actually mirrored to Man of Steel. You know, if you actually take Man of Steel and you watch that scene next to Batman v Superman, it's so comparable, and the only difference between the two is you're watching it through the eyes of Bruce Wayne.
Which I will give you this. It is a good way to start the movie.
Absolutely.
I
But
agree with
that scene,
Mhm.
okay, going back to telling a story through facial expressions and scenes and visuals and all that stuff, that scene, that introduction of Bruce Wayne, a retired Batman, watching Metropolis fall apart and he's not able to do anything, and he's looking in the sky and he's watching Superman and Zod go at it, and you just see his face just like he is pissed.
See, and this is
And
where
that is what is so great about what Zack Snyder does.
you see, look, for every step forward he takes, Zack Snyder, and we're like, oh, that's really cool that he did that. There's always like a dumb thing where he just kind of trips over himself that makes me just like takes me out of it, you know. So that scene, the opening one, I'm watching and I'm like, oh, it's a good start, you know. Where Bruce Wayne is running into the fucking into the all that shit that's going on, but then he calls his intern, and you see that they're all still in that fucking building, the Wayne building.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you? Why are you letting all your employees still be there while this like 9/11 type fucking event's happening? Like that took me out of it. Where it's like, I don't know if he's that. I don't see Bruce Wayne doing something like that, where he's just like, "Hey, get out of there!" And it's like, it's too fucking late. This guy's gonna die in about like 5 seconds. Like I don't. It just kind of takes me out of it. There's a scene. There's always a scene like that in Batman v Superman. For every good thing he does, he takes 2 steps back.
Sure.
You know. It also, when I was watching it, you can call me a moron. That's fine.
You are a moron, but go ahead.
Thank you. But I cannot understand. I can't fucking follow this movie. I don't understand anybody's motivations in this film. I don't understand Lex Luthor's motivations. I feel like if you try to tell me, you probably wouldn't understand either. I read reviews from when this movie came out. No one else knows what the fuck Lex Luthor is doing. Like, he's got the money. He's got all the fucking resources in the world. And then he still, like, fucking, like, delegates. Like, he hires people and he does all this shit. But then he's like, he wants to, like, frame Superman for, like, all these deaths. But then he also wants to bring Batman into it. And it's like, it's just so fucking sloppy, dude.
So before we go any further, let's identify the elephant in the room of what's obviously bad in this movie. I like this movie. I do think it's a good movie. It's not a perfect movie. Okay, if I were to rate it, I would rate it probably a low B. I really would. Okay.
Okay.
And but the elephant in the room is what's bad about the movie is Lex Luthor, elephant in the room. Right, I agree. I don't know what the fuck his motive was. It was very immature, petty, and annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Doomsday.
Shouldn't have been in there.
Very rushed.
Yeah.
Extremely rushed.
Uh-huh.
Martha.
Yep.
And
everything else. I'll say it for you. Everything else, Josh. Everything else in this movie.
Those
sucks.
are the and then you can also be an asshole and just say, oh, the no kill rule of Batman. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
You know, but those are the 3 obvious issues with the movie. One issue that a lot of people have with this movie is, and I agree with this one to an extent. Ben Affleck's ass.
Do you need a moment? Do you need to step out, Josh? Or?
So distracting.
That's what you love about this movie, isn't it? It's fucking Henry Cavill and his fucking abs, and then
so much testosterone. I lost my train of thought. What was that? No.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Well, one of the problems with Zack Snyder is he throws out a lot of these scenes, and he expects you to know without actually identifying the scenes or any type of explanation.
I agree.
You know, but he expects everybody to know, right? Like, I want you to come in. You're a comic book fan, you know, but it's like, okay, why is Batman in the past?
Mm-hmm.
What is that symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Let me Google this. What is this?
Yeah.
Who time travels? I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of scenes that you have to go in knowing as a fan what it is. Because I remember going in with some of my friends and I was like, oh yeah, the Flash, time travel, right?
Yeah.
Apocalypse, okay, you know. And then my friends were like, what is going on? Like, this movie is all over the place, which I get, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't bother me.
No, I agree.
I was okay with it.
No, and you brought up a good point where it's like he does these scenes where he expects you to kind of understand what's going to happen. And that's also one of my problems with his directing style. It's paper thin storytelling. He just doesn't know how to tell a good story. Have you ever heard of? I'm gonna bring out my writer brain here for a second. You ever hear of the unifying 2+2 rule, Josh?
No, sir.
Okay, so this rule suggests that when it comes to the audience, instead of giving them 4, whereas, you know, as in you show them the thing that's going to happen in the movie, you give them 2+2. You let the audience kind of add up what's going to happen in the film. And it's a good way to establish characters, is a good way to establish plot. And one movie that I think does it really well is the Batman. Matt Reeves' Batman. Let me take you back here in Batman v Superman. I might be going all over the place, so it's fine. Batman's introduction in Batman v Superman. What did you think of it, Josh?
In the first scene in
No,
Metropolis?
him as Batman. His introduction as Batman in Batman v Superman.
Scary as fuck.
Right. Okay. It's pretty obvious that that's kind of what they were going for. That he's just like
absolutely
brooding. He's an older Batman. I saw it as very on the fucking nose when I saw it.
Yeah,
And it felt
I agree with
it
that.
felt very like
Pulled out of the comic books.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
Visually.
sure. Still doesn't visually doesn't translate to good though. Sometimes
I'm not
give
saying
fan
good.
service.
I'm just saying visually.
Okay, all right.
That's all.
I saw it as it's very jarring and it kind of pulls you out of it. And it's like, oh my god, the cops come in and they're like, they see all these fucking like innocent people and they're like saying fucking demon in Spanish and like, he's over there, there's a demon, and it's like, okay, I fucking get it. This is an older Batman. He's a no nonsense type of Batman. What else you got for me, movie? Like, this is not doing it for me. Now let's go to Matt Reeves' Batman. The way it starts, it gives you the whole 2+2 rule. It shows you the bat signal light up in the sky. You see the criminals are looking in the fucking dark. The camera cuts to the fucking shot of the darkness, and they fucking run. They're terrified. You don't know what they saw. Apparently terrified of what I just said. Okay,
Disagrees.
I even fucking
Disagrees.
I even scared the avatar there. Anyway, and as an audience member, as you're watching that, you're going like, oh fuck, I haven't even seen Batman yet, and I already know how much of a threat like he is to the criminals in Gotham City.
Is this 2+2 rule from J.J. Abrams?
No, it's from a different director. I think it's like Scott Adkins or some shit like that.
Because it sounds very similar to his, hey, let me show you this box with a question mark on it.
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
You know, and kind of tell you about this box.
But
But
I feel like
I'm not going to tell you what's in this box, Alberto.
But I feel like this is more subtle, and it kind of, well, you can argue that it isn't as subtle, but I feel like it does a good job at establishing like this universe's Batman, and it doesn't even show you it. In fact, you hear his footsteps before you even get to see Batman.
No, and
You know?
don't get me wrong. I think Matt Reeves. We're not here to talk about directors.
No, we're not
You
here.
know,
But I'm
we're not
comparing
here
the
to-
scene with Batman.
Yeah, and
Superman
no, I agree with you 100%. I think
Yeah.
I think The Batman is a good movie. It is a great movie. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, my dislikes of the Batman is different and stuff like that, but I still say it's actually a great movie. You know, we're also talking about a director who is visually sound and also is
No, he
dialogue.
understands powerful imagery for sure.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
The Planet of the Apes is probably one of the greatest trilogies of all time.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, so well, even though he didn't direct the first one, the last two were still spot on, beautiful movies, great storytelling, and visually well done. But the thing is the thing that I love about Batman v Superman is it's different. Okay, it is in a lot of ways visually pulled from the comic books. Okay, which is rare. Which is very rare in a lot of ways. Okay, also, man, I'm losing my train of thought. It's about time for bed. And it's also daring, which I actually do appreciate.
It's trying to be daring, I think, is what you're looking for.
No,
I don't think it's not. Zack Snyder's not a director who's.
When
trying
did
to
the
say
no?
shit.
Let's talk about Batman. Let's talk about Batman a little bit. This movie gets a lot of hate, specifically from Batman, for the most part.
Deservedly, I think.
You know, he's not.
Here, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot you were here, Edgar. I'm sorry, man.
Edgar's powered up now. He's ready to go.
Let me talk to you. Okay. Well, what's the topic we're on first? Well, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead and continue. No, what's the topic sorry. Yeah.
Well, Batman's no kill rule.
No, that's the topic already. Okay.
Oh shit! Yeah, we
Oh,
kind of.
we're talking about as Zack Snyder as a director, right?
Yeah, please.
Shit, I lost my train of thought.
It's time for bed.
Yeah, he's only a visual director. He likes to do a lot of slow motion. It's unnecessary sometimes. This is how he like. I saw a clip and someone asked like, "What's your favorite shot or whatever, right, of your films?" Yeah, they asked that and it's a fucking slow motion shot. Right, like, are you serious, man? Out of all your movies you did, you don't have a like. I love this scene of the dialogue that I shot with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. The way they interacted, that was my favorite. No, you were talking about a fucking slow motion shot you did 50 times in a row just to get that clear shot, man. Like, no, man. You should say something more like to, some more substance to it. I love some of his films. Watchmen's great. 300. He didn't write. I don't know. He didn't write Dawn of the Dead. He directed it though. And the way he teased it, the announcement was out of The Dark Knight Returns. When you tease something like that, you expect that comic book, right? Like, okay, he's gonna pull out The Dark Knight. Half of the movie is fucking nonsense. Okay.
But it's not The Dark Knight Returns movie. It's
but
not.
Like that's what I said.
It's elements of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
What else? You guys talked a lot. I forgot where to get like.
I know,
all right, let's get to the kill rule then. Right? Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the no kill rule.
You showed me the fucking clip when he did the interview with Joe Rogan. That really ticked me off.
I saw that too. Shooting the guy in the head.
No, like
right?
the you tell that to me, I'm gonna rebel to that. That's like saying,
yeah.
That's like, okay, you're gonna direct Daredevil. He's a blind fucking lawyer. Yeah, he's gonna have vision this time, and he's a fucking playboy. He likes to fuck, this shit. It's like, no, dude, you're missing the point. You're missing the point of it. I didn't like that when he said that. It's like that's the one thing that makes Batman, right? I keep pointing. I keep taking this, and then I let you guys talk. The Dark Knight Returns, the comic book and the animated film. He gets his ass kicked by the fucking mutant, right? And you expect him to come back and fucking just kill the guy, right? No. He goes over there to his place, kicks his ass, his territory in front of his crew or whatever you want to call it, and humiliates him in front of them. That's fucking Batman. He's like I told you. The Dark Knight Returns, the comic and the animated film, he's on the brink on both, right? He's on his no kill rule, and at the same time he's on the edge. I like that. As where Zack Snyder, he wants to make it edgy. He wants to make it cool, where it doesn't play off well, or it doesn't comes out well in a way, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like he didn't. He just made it his own. I don't know.
But that's the thing, right? An artist comes in, writes a story, whether it's a comic book, unless it's like a line with the actual story of the continuation, blah blah blah, right? In comic book world. But anytime somebody writes a story, it's their vision, And that's where we've talked about this in the past, right? A lot of people struggle with, you know, this isn't my Iron Man, this isn't my Thor, this isn't my Batman.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't my Superman. He's too boring. Superman Returns, which I think is a fabulous movie.
Okay.
You know, it's a little boring, but I appreciated it. But you know, this is his vision, and you have to take it for what it is. Okay. Before we go to the no kill rule, I apologize, but the one thing that, a couple things, you know, this was at the peak of Marvel. You have to keep in mind, Marvel was at an all-time high. They were very successful with their routine of storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, when this movie also came out, people were also expecting the same thing. You know, and that's why I also think this movie got more hate than it actually deserved, because we got a serious, dark tone. Okay, we got more violence, less jokes, no jokes at all. You know,
Right.
And don't get me wrong, we talked about this earlier. Civil War was came out at the same time. Yes, it is a better movie.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But let's also be honest. There's a lot of Marvel movies that came out during that time that got a lot of love. That
That wasn't undeserved, you're saying.
yeah, that was pretty dog shit in my opinion. You know, what Zack Snyder does a good job at is he makes these two superheroes feel like godlike, bigger than your normal superhero. And that's one thing that I do appreciate.
But see, and I'm gonna just point to the screen here. What the fuck is happening? There is no. I'm not seeing the gods fighting. I don't see the mythical. These characters that Zack Snyder like build up to look like gods, and we're gonna see them fight. I'm seeing fucking politics in this movie. Zack Snyder does not excel in telling a fucking Christopher Nolan movie. Like, we all know what we're here for.
He's a producer, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was, but I feel like Christopher Nolan's like, I don't know, you go ahead and do whatever the fuck you want. Look, I feel like it's time to, and I know we're not going to talk about it here, but it's time to, like, because I feel like it gives too much credit to Zack Snyder to be like, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of studio interference. Like, I don't give a shit. Put that aside, right?
Sure.
This movie, his trilogy is over. He's no longer going to direct those movies. We can look at this movie as its own, like it's standing by itself. It's still a bad movie. Even without the studio interference, he just still didn't understand the characters. And I know that you say that, like, oh, well, visually he pulls from the comics and, like, there's no substance.
That's not fair to say. Christopher Nolan has a good understanding of Batman?
Yeah.
Does he know who Batman is?
I will say this.
Yes or no?
Who? What?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
You think he knows Batman? You think that he?
Well, first I gotta correct you. It's not Christopher Nolan. It's his brother who wrote The Dark Knight. He understands the character. Okay, but on top of that,
touche. Touche.
On top of that, I will say,
don't forget about David S. Goyer. If you're gonna get like,
whatever.
Come on, man. You played a big hand in that too.
Well, I will say though is with Christopher Nolan, not only did he understand the character, he evolved the character. Well, not necessarily Batman, but he definitely evolved his villains, like Joker. Because when Jonathan Nolan wrote The Dark Knight, you start to see this trend where the comic book writers started to take a lot from The Dark Knight.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the inverse where it was
agree
like,
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the inverse of, like, instead of them taking, the directors taking from the comic books, it was the comic books taking from the fucking movies. Now that's rare. You don't see that in fucking movies.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I think Christopher Nolan did a great job. Loved what he did. Absolutely. You know, going back to Batman v Superman, though, let's go back to the Batman's no kill rule. Do you think Batman could ever potentially kill somebody? Going back to your statement, Edgar, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, no kill rule. And then Dark Knight Returns, he's on the brink. He's close. He plays with it, but he's not quite there.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean that there is some type of, and to me, not just from Zack Snyder's point, but I think that's what makes Batman very unique. Is that I do think that if shit hit the fan, by all means, he will do anything and everything he can to better the situation in his favor. Tower of Babel. Isn't that what he did? Was fucked up.
All right, hold on. Let me just say it, but I'll give you the mic back. No, yeah. Look, I'm gonna outright say it. There are versions of Batman that have killed. You could even argue that he did that in Tim Burton's fucking 1989.
Who knows nothing about Batman, by the way? We're just gonna throw that out there. Tim Burton.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say me. I was like, what?
You do know nothing about Batman, Alberto.
I don't know about that, Josh. Hold on. But and I think a critical thing that you said is that it's your opinion that's what you think about. Like, oh well, that's what strikes me as interesting about Batman is that he would kill if it came to it. But I think that what's the version of Batman that people resonate with the most? Is it the one that kills people?
I get where you're coming from. Right.
Who's the definitive Batman, Josh? He's right behind you. He's a Funko Pop.
Ben Affleck's.
Oh my god! Go ahead.
You're right. He's
Go ahead
right
and look
behind me,
Go
man.
ahead and look at his
Dang,
ass
dude.
if you want, Josh.
God,
It's
dude.
the animated.
Good call out.
It's the animated series Batman, which I think we can all agree is the
Of
definitive
course,
fucking
it was
version
an
of Batman.
animated series for children, man.
For adults too. You have the fucking Funko Pop. Like, that's the version that everybody loves of Batman. Is the one that is not willing to submit to the no-kill rule. That he's not gonna fucking go cross over that line, because if he does, he's no better than the fucking villains that he chases after. Then there's no more relatability. And I know what you're saying. Like, oh, how's he relatable? He's a fucking billionaire. Blah blah blah.
First off, let's get something straight. The reason why DC movies struggle for the most part is they are the most unrelatable characters.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
they are
fair.
more godlike.
That is fair.
Marvel has an advantage because majority of these characters are actually relatable.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why DC movie struggles. Okay? Batman, even though, yes, he is a man, he is a cat wearing a cow, whatever you want to call it, he is a godlike figure. Man punched.
Certain versions are godlike figures. The ones that resonate with people the most is the one that isn't a godlike figure, who does still go after those street level criminals, who does go after the Joker and still doesn't fucking kill him. Because we've all been there before,
that's
like
great. I appreciate and I love the no kill rule because and first off, the one person that really put that on the map was the Dark Knight trilogy. Let's be honest. Okay, that's when they started talking about that.
The no kill rule.
Yeah. Alberto shook his head. He agrees with me. Okay. But and yes, you are right. What makes Batman very unique is that he is no different from the Joker. He is no different from Two-Face. All these villains, but he has one leverage that keeps him away from them. He doesn't kill.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I love that. But what if? That's just the thing and so unique about him is that he can snap at any time, push the right way, hush. He almost went in a killing. He almost broke his kill rule in Hush.
Yeah.
But
But look, relating it to Batman v Superman, staying on topic here, he was in a situation where he should have snapped. Who died in this universe that
and
cared about
again,
so much?
going back to Zack Snyder, lack of explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Robin was killed by the Joker.
And he didn't fucking kill the Joker. He has a no-kill rule, or he apparently does kill people, but not the Joker.
Yeah, but maybe it was going to be told in another story. Why would you would you do a time travel scene and not
Josh.
even say
Josh,
anything?
You can't defend the movie if you're saying, well, it was going to be done. I don't give a shit if it was going to be done
I
in
agree.
the next movie.
No, and that's why I threw out the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder doesn't do a good job explaining. He expects you to already know, and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
As I explain my argument and identify the shitty things about this movie, You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not doing a great job, guys. But no, that's
Look, let's go back to what he was saying. Like the director's, that's his own vision. That's his own take of Batman. I want to take it to another different media, comics. Hold on, it relates to this, to you make it your own type of thing, right? A couple years ago, Captain America came out, right, and towards the end, it was revealed that he was working for Hydra. Don't that kill his character?
a lot of people were furious about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took it back. Okay. And here's a different thing, like with the Venom. Venom was just not a low life, but like he wasn't going anywhere in the comics, right? People didn't take him seriously. He was just a Venom. He was a villain, basically. Just a low, lethal protector, yeah. Donny Cates came in and added new things towards Venom. And now you can see in the Spider-Man 2 video game, and a lot of media is taking, like you said, now it's the opposite. The movies are taking material from that new Venom, because he took it to he evolved the character. He made it more relatable, right? He's a dad now. He's struggling with stuff like that. He added more nuance to the character. And people love that shit now. No, like, because he was saying that Zack Snyder can take it as, that was his own take. And it's a bad take. Like I said, like some guy tried to take the risk of making Captain America a bad guy, and didn't work.
Here's my problem with the Captain America thing, and fan service is it's such bullshit, man.
But that's what you liked about this movie, is that it pulls from the comics. That's fan service.
What do you?
That's fan service. You said visually it takes from the comic books.
No, what I appreciate about this movie is that he sticks to his guns. Zack Snyder does.
Literally
He literally does.
Yeah.
Okay. He will take a character, make his own vision, and he doesn't give two shits about what anybody and everybody thinks about it.
That's the problem.
But the thing is Captain America, if you're doing a story and everybody shits on it and you're just like, oh, let's pull it back, let's get rid of it, it's not canon. Mistake. And they do that often, but as an artist, how would that make you feel? What if you wrote your book and at the ending of the story that you killed your main character, and everybody was like, Alberto, I loved your story, but that ending, dog shit. You should have never killed that great of a character. And then you're like, you know what I'm going to just, for your sake, for all the millions of people out there, I'm going to rewrite this book. I'm going to change the ending.
Well, I do have to say that reveal of Hydra.
Hold on.
Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
No, it just came up to me before I forget. The people didn't like that because genuinely, Captain America is just a good guy. You don't see him as a bad guy.
Yeah.
From the first fucking issue till like whenever now, you can't do that. It's kind of like the one no kill rule for him.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like you can deviate and make your own thing from with your characters and shit, from established characters. But the moment you start taking away like the core values that makes that character interesting, just for the sake of like, oh well, what if you did this? You're starting to like, okay, now you're even losing the fucking general fan base. Forget the hardcore fan base. Now you're losing the general audience.
Yeah, but the fan base has actually grown in this series, which is actually very unique. Originally when this movie came out, it was hated on. It was shitted on. A lot of people disliked it. This movie has, to most people, aged like fine wine.
That's a bold statement, Josh.
It has grown. It has grown. It's. I like the idea, and I'm comparing, and I'm gonna add Justice League to it as well. What I love about this Batman, Alfred questions Bruce Wayne and his motives. And he pretty much alludes that he's pretty much breaking his rule, that he's no different than the villains.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bruce Wayne gives him this like spiel. If there's like not one chance that he'll, that scene right there, which is actually not a bad scene. It's actually not a bad scene.
It's not a bad scene to someone who doesn't understand how to tell subtlety.
Oh, God.
It might as well have just been Zack Snyder talking through Alfred and being like, "Hey guys, look, I'm telling Batman, hey, you're getting close to doing your no-kill rule." It's not subtle at all. It's just it's hitting it on the head. Like a lot of scenes do this in the movie, where it will pose a question of like, "Oh, did Superman kill those people in the first scene with Lois Lane or whatever?" It's like, no, because we saw that he did fucking kill people, but he also didn't kill all those other guys. It's like, what are you trying to say with, like, it's not subtle at all.
We'll define subtle. Like, let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this. Like, what do you mean by it was not subtle?
By what's not subtle? When it compares to this movie, you're saying?
Yeah, in this movie in general. Like, what do you mean that like?
Well, let's take Lex Luthor for example, right? In this movie, it might be a bad example because we all agree that he's not a great fucking character. But in regards to like subtlety, Lex Luthor just all the time is talking about gods and monsters and this and that, and like all these soliloquies about this, and it's like, we get it. We get where you're going with this.
You're crazy. You're trying to show me that you're crazy. Yeah, this character is
crazy. Like so direct. It's so like on the nose. It loses any kind of subtlety, right? And I don't want to keep coming back to Matt Reeves' Batman, but there is a scene when the Riddler gets caught, and he says like, "Oh, I just ordered a slice of pumpkin pie," and they fucking like push him down on the table. And you guys are gonna laugh at this, but Paul Dano has this fucking O face, where he looks like he's like jizzing in his pants, and he's like, like that or whatever. But no dialogue is spoken, and you can see from his expression that like he's been waiting for this. He's been waiting for this moment where he's gonna get caught, and when he finally does, you can see it in his like expression in his eyes, like, oh, it's happening. It's like, my plan is coming to fruition. And what does he do? You can see his eyes. He looks up. He sees Batman standing outside the fucking diner, and he smiles at him. That tells you how fucking insane Riddler is without saying a damn fucking thing. The 2 IDs and his fucking wallet, and it's like, which one are you? And it's like, you tell me. And it's like, that's a little bit corny or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to how fucking shitty Lex Luthor is. You can tell this motherfucker's an evil, like, genius who just like, and I also, just as a side note, I hate how he just goes like, oh look, I got Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne in the same room. Oh, what does he say in that? You do not want to pick a fight with this guy. And I was like, okay, right the fuck off with that shit, because what's gonna happen? They're gonna fucking fight. It's like it loses all fucking subtlety right away.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that not everyone looks at a movie like that. Come on, like the way you described that scene, detail by detail.
Yeah,
you know that is art. That is art, and I appreciate that. You know. But not everybody has that eye. You know, you have a background in film school. You studied this stuff. That's leverage. That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
You know.
Go ahead. Keep hyping me up, Joe.
But this is not an Oscar-winning movie.
It's not.
Okay, I'm not arguing and saying that this is an Oscar-winning movie.
Of course not. But what I will counter with that is, after the 2 movies that came out with Zack Snyder, right? Was it Dawn of the Dead and 300? Most everybody declared Zack Snyder as this visionary auteur director. That's what people are putting Zack Snyder as. So I'm going to criticize him what they're saying.
No, and I think that's fair. But let me ask you this question visually. Just visually, who is visually, and when you look at visually, look at this scene.
Okay.
As much as you hate it, this is visually a great scene. It is. When you talk about,
It's corny as shit, though.
no, obviously, again, dialogue, not his strong suit. I get that. But now we actually have two gods, you know, like the build-up, you know, finally meeting each other, and you have to appreciate this scene. Who is visually as good as Zack Snyder, though? Who? Visually. Go ahead.
No, I'll give you props on that. I did say he understands imagery, right? I did say that, didn't I? I would even go as far as to say he innovated with slow motion. To give credit where credit's due. I think the use of slow motion in 300 was warranted when it came to the material that he was approaching with the Romans and everything like that, because that made sense. You're going to see that action from these mythological, almost like godlike figures. It made sense. But when you start to do it in every other fucking movie, there's a scene where, like, I think it goes in slow motion when Bruce Wayne is like putting a fucking razor under the water, and it's like slow motion. Like, why do I need to see that? Why? Yeah, no, I think it's this is the extended edition, right? We might have passed it, but I remember that happening in the movie. I think you're making that up. Are you sure? 100%. You say you haven't seen this movie in preparation for the podcast, though. How do you know that you're not?
You didn't even fucking watch it either.
I did. I watched it after a certain point because I couldn't watch the rest of this fucking movie, dude. It gets unbearable at it. I lost my point of thought. What were we talking about?
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, Albert. I thought you did your research, so hold on.
You did your research, but also shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Let me.
Look, okay.
No, go ahead.
I want to go back to the one kill real quick. And he was saying, like, oh, you got to be in depth of knowing these characters and all this shit, right? Okay, let's go to a more grounded Batman, The Dark Knight. And that's on your fucking face with the no kill rule, right? That's the Joker. That's his one thing he wants the Batman to do is to break. He does a lot of crazy shit, right? He kills politicians. He killed his girlfriend without even knowing, right?
Yeah.
He breaks fucking Harvey Dent. All these characters around him, around the Batman.
Yeah. And
at a certain point, after he loses Rachel, I feel like he questions himself in that moment. He's looking at his mask. Should I break my one kill rule to get rid of him, or should I stop being Batman?
Oh, you said one kill rule. No kill rule. You mean?
No kill rule.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
And let's talk about him. I love the moment where Alfred talked to him. Yeah, that's in every fucking thing, in comics, in the Dark Knight, the animated
Arkham
series,
Origins too. Right?
Arkham Origins, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he does the same thing here. He tells him the time he was. I'm gonna pray. I don't know. He was in Vietnam, right, Alfred, or like he was in a war, right, in the jungle. And
Yeah, he's seen some shit. Let's just
or
say
something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he just tells his side of the story, like, right? There's no way, even if you do break your one no kill rule or whatever.
Yeah.
This guy's still gonna do what he's still gonna do his shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go towards the end now, when there's the two boats, and the Joker wants.
Yeah, that whole situation, yeah.
Yeah. And in that moment, even the Joker questions and is like, "What the fuck? I thought these guys were gonna blow up each other."
Yeah, and that's cool too because Christopher Nolan makes Gotham also a character too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if someone doesn't know anything about Batman,
yeah,
it's all this shit, right? All this mythology. This one's grounded. It's real, right? The Dark Knight. That one you can see right away, like you said, your 2+2 rule. This one's always on your nose, and you said it. We already talked about it,
subtlety
right?
to it. Yeah.
Even when the Joker's plan doesn't work, and the Batman has him, right? And instead of fucking letting him die in that moment, no, he brings him back up, and you even see it in Joker's face. He goes,
Yeah, I was like, why?
Why?
I can't break this fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I can't break you then.
And what does Joker say in Zack Snyder's movies? I'll be your friend and all these other fucking
Right?
Sorry, I just said.
Look, my only problem with this whole thing right now is that we're actually comparing directors,
Yeah, I know we keep going to that.
and that's not fair.
I'm not comparing.
Kind of, I feel like you kind
We
of.
are, we are. You know, Christopher Nolan is he's a step up. He's a step up.
Well, I feel like it is hard not to do that though. I feel like because we do have to talk about.
But that's like critiquing too much, right? It
Wasn't
is.
this what this whole thing's about?
It is. Well, okay.
At least with
not
on my
just
end, I
critiquing.
guess.
Excuse me, but we allow other visions probably cloud our opinions for other movies that deserve a fair shot. Transformers, Michael Bay Transformers, I enjoy it
For what it is.
for what it is. I like it.
See, I think that's the key point with Josh is that like it's just for what it is. I enjoy it.
Exactly.
No, I don't think Josh understand what's coming from. He said when you were guys talking about, he said you gotta be in depth of knowing the comics. You gotta be in depth knowing the characters. That's why the reason why I brought Dark Knight, because he said it too. Is like the Dark Knight's more grounded.
So
Feels more real.
my argument to that, let me revisit that, and I didn't explain myself well enough, is I don't think any director that that really does these movies has a clear understanding of the source material. Let's just be honest, you know.
All these people who made Batman movies?
Yeah, I don't think they genuinely, like, I don't know Matt Reeves enough, so not a fair shot on him, but I know for a fact Christopher Nolan didn't know much of Batman until he started reading a lot of the source materials like Long Halloween and all that other stuff. Okay, Killing Joke and so forth.
Right.
Zack Snyder on Joe Rogan's podcast said that, yeah, you know that scene when he like pulls that gun and shoots the guy on the flamethrower and blah 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 blah. He's like,
KG Beast.
yeah, KG Beast. He's like, I saw that on The Dark Knight Returns, and he has the guy's holding a baby, and then Batman has a gun and he shoots the guy in the head and kills him to save the baby, because I know Batman would do that. And I'm like, that's not how it actually goes. Batman shoots the gun, the bullet goes besides his head and shoots the wall, and he scares the guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't kill him, you know? I don't think they genuinely have an idea, and it's a very complicated story because Batman is all over the place. Comic book, we talked about stories like, where do you start? If you haven't read comic books from the beginning, you're gonna have a lack of understanding of the source material, you know. But that's why you also have to take it for what it is, because it's their interpretation.
But see, that's the thing is what I'm saying is that their interpretation is just it also just doesn't work. Because I just like, because you say like, oh, this is his vision, this is his whatever, or you know, this is his version of these characters. But even then, he still fails at telling his own version of these characters. You know?
Have you seen Justice League?
Oh my God, this is gonna be the next episode, and we're gonna talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I have seen it. It's been a while though. I did see it when
I
it
will
came
tell
out.
you that the character development in that is 100 times better. It is a very long, exhausting movie. You know, do I think the dialogue is still amazing? No, I think it's subpar at best. I will also tell you that it's probably top 5 greatest comic book movies of all time. I would argue that.
That's like saying no, dude. Honestly, that's like saying Across the Spider-Verse is one of the best comic book movies. Like you can't say that. It's like
Alberto, there's no such
it's the
thing as
second-
animated movies that are greatest of all time.
Do we have to bring up your name again, Josh? do we need a bit of re-education again, Josh? Or
Shut
what?
up, man. Shut up.
No. Look, it is. I will say this. Okay, I'm gonna say another nice thing about Zack Snyder. There are definitely elements in his like vision that he was trying to bring to life that I do genuinely think could have worked had he like been able to stuck the landing, had there not been any like kind of studio interference and everything. But again, if we're talking about Batman v Superman after all of this shit and it's standing on its own.
Can I throw my opinion?
No, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
Based off of what you're telling me, I think that, You're just not a fan of his work, his style. I think that's
is
what
that
it's
not
more
what I
is.
said in the beginning of this? You told
Yeah,
me if
no,
I like.
I think that's just
don't
what
like
it ultimately is. I don't think it's just because you think it's a bad movie. I think it's ultimately that it's not your cup of tea. You know, you prefer.
No, I agree.
The story. You prefer, you know, like the Kevin Smiths of the world.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and you just, I guess you seem to just like things blowing up all the time. You just like the visual storytelling.
Yeah, I do.
That's it.
I do like popcorn movies.
Yeah, that's very obvious, Josh. With Batman v Superman, that's very obvious.
Hey! Top 5
You like
Shawshank Redemption over here that doesn't even know the movie. Go fuck yourself, bud. All right, go fuck yourself.
Look, like I said, I like some of his movies, right? It was Zack Snyder. But are you fucking serious? Like, for every film that you got, you gotta say, that wasn't my vision. I got a director's cut. That's not my vision. I got a director's cut. Director's cut for Watchmen. Director's cut for this. Director's cut for fucking Justice League. Director's cut for fucking Rebel Moon. Like, are you serious, dude? You can't make a fucking film under 2 hours and jam everything and make it great.
I don't disagree with that.
But
again, we're not here to talk about the director. We're here to talk about the movie in itself.
I feel like
for
we
what
should.
it is.
I feel like we should have made this episode about Zack Snyder at this point. 'Cause this is all we're doing.
Yeah, I think officially this is not a Batman v Superman movie.
It started
This
as
is-
a Batman v Superman
is-
episode, and it went off the fucking.
and I get it. Like it's easy like to go. It's like sports. You guys
Jesus, we're only at this part of the fucking movie.
Oh yeah, it just started, baby. I just.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Even he had more shit to it and he couldn't finish
My God. Can I also just say, as another critique to this movie, you would think that when the Flash shows up to Batman and that fucking when he's like, we just saw that scene, right? And Batman has the nightmare sequence and he's like shooting people. You would think by the end of this movie he learns his lesson, and he kind of does. And then he still goes on to fucking kill people in the movie. Like in the end of Justice League, right? Of Zack Snyder's Justice League. What does he say to Joker? Which, by the way, he should have fucking killed at this point. He tells him, like, I will kill you. And I will fucking kill you. I was like, all right, come on. Just fucking stop.
Alberto,
That's
when
like-
you make a movie about Batman, you can actually do it any way you want.
I'll do it
Okay.
better than Zack Snyder, Josh. I'll do it fucking better than he can. Because I'm not going to just be like, oh, look at this fucking panel from Dark Knight Returns. Let's go ahead. And
I'll wait. You let me know when you get the script written.
Are you going to buy
and you're
gonna buy tickets? IMAX?
I will be the first in line when you make this
All right,
movie.
All right.
Let me know when you wake up from your dream, Alberto.
Hey, I'm wide awake. You're the one who needs to go to sleep. It's past bedtime, Josh. It's past your bedtime.
Hey. These old man jabs, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know I compared you to Superman, but not really and all that. I'm sorry, Josh.
Superman has to sleep good at night.
That is true. Does he even fucking sleep in this movie?
No, he doesn't.
I don't think
He only
he
has
does,
like
dude.
20 lines, Alberto.
God, man, he's always moping in this fucking movie, dude. Sorry.
Look, my point really is you have to like Transformers 1. You have to take it for what it is, okay?
Except Transformers 1 was actually kind of decent, though.
It was pretty bad.
Are you sure? Are you shitting me?
It's pretty bad.
If you,
it is not like. Do I like it? Would I say it's good? Yes.
Mhm.
To my standards, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
well, not to my standards, but like it fulfilled my needs, right? I
Yeah.
got what I needed.
But you say it's bad.
Yeah, it's a Michael Bay movie.
Not just say Zack Snyder and apply it to this movie, Josh, because that's exactly what you're fucking describing with Transformers.
Oh no, absolutely not. I have no idea what you're fucking
This is
talking
the same
about.
fucking shit. If anything, I'd say Transformers is better than this fucking movie because at least I'm
This is
watching
story.
something.
This is story driven. There's a lot of character in this
it's
base.
it's story driven, Josh.
Like,
Really?
come on. You have Bruce Wayne, Batman. Okay, like a lot of backstory.
I'm waiting for the point. I'm waiting for the point, Josh. What is it?
I am.
Storytell. How's this story driven?
Shut the fuck up, Alberto. Go fuck yourself.
No, dude, this is not fucking. You know what Lex Luthor does in this movie as a way to taunt Batman? He fucking like voids the checks that Batman's been sending to one of the victims of the people who died in Man of Steel or whatever, and he writes fucking.
I never said this was a smart movie, Alberto. I never.
It's a story-driven movie. I'm telling you how it's not story-driven. And it's like, that's your fucking big plan? Lex Luthor, you're going to void some fucking checks, pee in a fucking glass, and call it peach tea? Go fuck yourself, dude.
Oh, man. Intermission! Intermission!
All right, and we are back from that little intermission. We kind of argued there off camera, I guess, or off the podcast a little bit. Let's go ahead and dive into Superman's, or the interpretation of this Superman. Josh, as you were saying before we started recording.
So, yeah, Edgar, say your...
Look, I'll say what Josh is going to say. This is Zack Snyder's version of Superman.
That's it?
Yeah. That's enough to say, right?
All right, now go ahead, Josh.
let me actually repeat and quote what Edgar just said in my Edgar voice. Zack Snyder doesn't understand characterization. Is that correct?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Was that a pretty good legit?
I couldn't distinguish either or. It's good.
And talk about the scene that that we were just talking about. Explain the scene.
From Man of Steel.
Yeah, from Man of Steel. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's elaborate a little bit.
So yeah, so I guess in Man of Steel, there's that scene where Superman is forced to have to, or Clark Kent, I guess, forced to have to make a decision on whether or not he's going to save these. Now you might have to chip in here because I haven't seen Man of Steel as much as probably you have.
Why are you saying this? Why are you explaining this? Shouldn't Edgar be explaining?
Do you want to explain it, Edgar?
It's like I'm
Go
having
ahead.
Alberto explain Shawshank Redemption.
Right?
But go ahead.
Well, no, the scene that we were talking about in Man of Steel is when Clark Kent saves the bus from the river, and I guess they noticed that, right? The kids and all that. Cut to where his dad shows up, and Clark Kent tells him, "Yeah, what do you want me to do? Should I just let him die?" And his dad was, "Maybe." Well, yeah, that is dumb.
So you guys are saying because of this scene, Zack Snyder doesn't understand characterization, right? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I mean that with love, guys.
Hold on,
because this is what I was saying to these guys.
yeah.
Oh man. Here's my problem with this, and knowing the situation and the world that we live in, right, is keep in mind we have a clear understanding of who Superman is and where Superman comes from. Obviously, Superman is going to save everybody. Okay, in this world, they don't know who Superman is. They don't know who this kid is, what he will become. Okay, we live in a society, in a world where we are fearful of what the government is capable of. Okay, if I have a 4-year-old son, my 4-year-old son has some type of power ability that is not from this earth, I'm going to protect him as best as I can. And if that means sacrifice of other people, then shit, maybe that's the case. And I think that's what he was referring to, you know. But he also doesn't know what the right answer is. And that's humanizing the situation. I don't know, right? But being that he is Superman and that he's, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, what does he end up doing anyways? He doesn't think about himself, and he saves these kids. Now, to kind of give you guys leverage, I think you guys should have made a better argument using the scene where his father dies.
I was going to bring that up.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people hate that, but one thing that I do appreciate about the scene is how many times has the heart attack scene been used in stories? Multiple times. Okay? Multiple times.
Yeah.
His father dying from a heart attack. You know? And
Again, we want to clarify, we don't know as much about Superman in terms of the comic book material. I just want to make that clear. And we're mostly talking about this version of Superman. But go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. Sorry.
As he points to the TV and alludes to Batman v Superman. Stop giving it the finger. Give the movie the respect that it deserves, Alberto. There we go. The thumbs up. The thumbs up. Wow. Let's talk about like the Superman that wasn't willing to save his father. Okay, the heart attack has been done multiple times. It was done in the Christopher Reeve story. It's been done with Lois and the new. I don't know if you guys have seen Superman and Lois.
No.
It's actually a pretty good show. I do recommend.
Yeah, I heard
it.
of that. Yeah.
But his father does die of a heart attack, and a lot of people actually love this scene because it puts Clark Kent, Superman, in a situation where he cannot genuinely save his father. Period. You have somebody who goes far and beyond, saves everyone, saves anything. But in this state, he cannot save his father. Okay. But I believe what Zack Snyder was going for, and this is characterization in a nutshell, guys, is in today's standards, when you are protective of the ones that you love, and you're fearful of, I don't know, people taking him away, because he does actually mention that in the movie. He's willing to sacrifice himself for it. And Clark Kent even admits that it was probably not the right thing to do in that moment. But he was willing to sacrifice himself and be fucking killed by this tornado to protect his son's identity. And what's crazy is that that humanizes the situation even more. Think about that.
Okay.
Let that sit in. Go ahead, Edgar.
I'm gonna pull a Josh here. Have you seen Brightburn? Josh?
Yes.
So there you go. That's what happens if they know your kid was a alien. So there you go. That's your version.
That was a terrible movie because that was not my Superman.
Even Superman, what are you talking about?
I'm kidding.
What I was getting to the point is, like, since he was a baby, Clark Kent, that's what they taught him to be. To be good, to show, all this and that, and what do you want to say? Go ahead.
No. I'm just gonna just say that, like, Josh talked about all this, like, protecting your protecting Clark Kent, because we don't know what the government's capable of. We're 2 movies in at this point. We know what the government is capable of. Superman has not been reprimanded for anything he's done. They haven't used him for experiments. They haven't fucking taken him into custody. This fucker can, like, break the handcuffs and just fly away. Like, the point
that's now, obviously, right? Keep in mind that the first one was when he was a kid,
teenager.
Okay?
But what I think makes Superman such a great character is how his parents, like how he taught him as a child to love the world. Like, these are the only people that Clark Kent has access to in terms of how the world is, how the world works. It's their job to teach Clark Kent, like, hey man, like, the world is it is not a great place, but it's still worth saving. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And
But
they don't do
that's
that
our
here.
Superman. That's canon Superman in a nutshell, where he's at, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did nobody like New 52 Superman?
Go ahead, Josh.
Why?
No, you tell me.
Because he was fucking cocky,
Mm-hmm.
right? They tried to make him. They gave him a little bit of a personality. He was kind of a badass. Nobody fucking liked him, right? So he went back to being who he was. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not that Superman.
And that's the problem. No, I'll go back to what I said before. The version that people love of Superman, even if you deviate even a little bit from the character, the one thing you can't take away is, like, his love for Earth. And it starts with his fucking parents.
Yeah, but
even in this movie,
what was the character? We're talking about characterization. We're talking about
right.
development of the character of itself. What were they going for in this? Everywhere Superman goes, there is destruction. There is death. Obviously, he's being set up. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, when he's in the beginning, they kill all those people. There, who was there? Superman. He goes to that government place, goes to stand trial to represent himself. You know what happens? It blows up. Obviously, no, Superman did not do anything of this. But the whole point of this was that anywhere and everywhere that Superman goes, there's always death and destruction. And they were actually coming off of the end of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
People blame the end of Man of Steel on Superman. And he has to live with that.
Yeah.
He has to live with that, okay? And then now it continues in Batman v Superman that there's continuing to be death and destruction, you know, and now he's not able to save everybody. You know, that's the idea that Zack Snyder is doing for his story as he tells this, okay? Now,
I don't know about you, but you're already having a dark fucking Batman who's like willing to kill people, and now you're also going to give us a version of Superman that's like, maybe he can't save everyone. It's like, can you just?
But can he really?
He can. No, well, okay. Look, let's say let's say he can't, right? But you love the idea that he is this god that can be anywhere at once, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the comic that James Gunn is taking inspiration for his Superman?
All-Star. Great story.
That
Great
panel
story.
where he's like flying around and he hears that voice of that one kid that's like suicidal or something, right?
Yeah.
And he goes to
The
that
girl, right?
Yeah, and he goes to her instead of whatever he was gonna do. Like, that's what I love about Superman, right? Is that like, can he be everywhere all at once? Probably not, but you love that idea that he can be. And Zack Snyder deconstructs it in a way that's like, he just sorry guys, he just can't be everywhere all at once. And it's like, come on, man, like, this is Superman we're talking about. You're also going to like deconstruct that character in that way. Like, even her mom in this movie tells Superman's like, you don't owe this world anything. It's like, you kind of do. That's your obligation. This is your new world now. Your symbol is fucking hope, and you're gonna tell your son like, I don't know, the world is just not worth saving. I'm sorry, but
we're also we have an individual right now that's trying to discover whether he's human or if he's still Kryptonian. You know? First off, he was like probably in his early 30s in this movie. Come on, man. I think Diane Lane was like 10 years older than him. Dang, man.
no, yeah, I go ahead.
Before I forget. Man of Steel too. Another thing that I heard people didn't like is that he killed General Zod, right? So like in that scene, what did he do? Hold on, I'm trying to remember. I guess yeah. Let's see if we can pitch in here. I think didn't he like Superman, like not moved him, but made him stop with the laser eyes or whatever.
Yeah, he was like holding his head.
Oh yeah, he was holding. But so you're saying he had the power to do that, but like, what am I trying to get here? Fuck. Yeah, I'm losing my thought here.
Hand the mic back to Alberto.
Hold on.
We have a Shawshank Redemption moment, guys.
What I was getting to, anyways, is like, why would he kill Zod if he's known to be all good and all this shit, right? Like, people didn't like that neither. Let's get back to like you were talking about that comic book. There's one that I love. I can't fucking find it because it was a fucking Walmart exclusive or whatever, right? This is to the point I'm getting to, like how Superman is like all good and everything. Like he can't be there all at once or whatever. He saves this girl. She's I say if I remember, a little girl who's I think she got taken by aliens or whatever, right? I forgot. He takes his time, from whatever's going on in the world to go save that one little girl, right? And when he sees this little girl is just like asking all these questions to Superman, asking like, who would win between you and Batman? And then Superman's like, Batman. And the little girl's like, no, I know you're messing around with me. Who can really win? So, Batman, I let him win. That's how. See that like what I'm getting to is like he knows that he can beat Batman, but even though he's telling this little girl that like he wouldn't do it still, like yeah, he's pulling his hunches with him.
Yeah, but we're also talking about a more mature Superman for a very inexperienced Superman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people fail to understand that. They're like, oh man, Man of Steel, you know, like he brought it into the city and destroyed the city, and my Superman would never do that. And it's like he's only been Superman for like 24 hours, technically, in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Would you know what to do with all that power when you discovered it?
Right.
And on top of it, these aliens, like with the same abilities as you,
Mm-hmm.
like came to your back door.
Right.
You know, I'm winging it at this point. You know,
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like. This scene is so dumb. This scene.
Oh
is
yeah,
so
with
dumb.
Cyborg and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a little product placement with Dr. Pepper there in the background. That's good.
Yeah.
No,
There's
but like yeah, you're right about that. About how like he's still an inexperienced Batman in this universe. Or sorry, Superman in this
You're good.
universe. But that's why I feel like Zack Snyder failed to have Superman have a mentor in his life. Like I said, with his mom and his dad, there's a scene where like he calls up his mom and is like talking about his dad and everything like that. You can see that Superman is still trying to figure it out, right? And he's looking up to his parents to like get some kind of answers. And what does this fucking like, again? I go back. What does his mom say? It's like you don't owe anything to this world, and it's like great. Like you're instilling confidence to Superman. It's like it starts with his fucking parents. That's what made him a good Superman. And Zack Snyder had a chance at doing that with Man of Steel, and he failed at that. What? Just because, like, he has to protect his child. He's Superman. He's gonna be fine until he kills fucking Doomsday with the spear or whatever. But like, he's Superman. Like, I don't understand this whole thing of like, he has abilities and who knows what the government is capable of. I think the fucking government in this universe is terrible. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They can't rein in their own fucking heroes. Like, I don't know.
But you gotta keep in mind too.
Here's the iconic scene right here. Huh? This is the element that I was talking about, Josh. The only element of the movie that I liked is right here. Just wanted to point that out. This is it right here.
Shut up! You didn't even get this far when you watched the movie.
No, I did. I after Batman shot the guy at the gas tank, I was like, I'm out.
You pretty much like finished the movie.
Did I though? Because there was like another fucking hour.
That's
There's another hour.
You were like 2 hours and 20 minutes into the movie.
But
You
it's
probably had,
not.
like, another.
It wasn't worth it, Josh. That's the point. Is that it's not fucking worth it.
Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if Kevin Smith directed this movie, he'd be all over it. And there's a lot of terrible
Can
Kevin
I be
Smith
honest?
movies.
Can I be honest? It'd be better than Zack Snyder's.
Lord.
It'd be better. Let's be honest. Because at least we'd have some good dialogue.
I think
between the
what you're really admitting here is that you're obviously not a fan of Zack Snyder. You never will like anything of his movies.
Well, hold on.
know?
I did give some flowers to him, right? I did say that he does.
I don't see any flowers. What are you talking about?
I did say he understands the powerful
didn't see
imagery
you
with visual telling.
Come
right?
with dozen roses in your hand from King Soopers and.
Why King Soopers? Why are you being so oddly specific with the flowers? Are
'Cause
you
that's
trying to
where
give
I
your
go.
flowers?
That's where I go.
Oh,
Okay.
King Soopers?
Yeah, King Soopers.
That's where you buy your fucking flowers?
Ask my wife. Yeah, she'll fucking tell you. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know,
She's
Josh.
like on a daily basis. Thank you for my King Soopers flowers, Josh.
Where's the flowers for Zack Snyder then? Huh? Where's his King? He does deserve King Soopers flowers, if I'm being honest. The fucking cheapest of all the flowers.
Whoa. Cross.
Oh, I crossed the line with Zack Snyder's and Zack Snyder flowers. Jesus.
No, man, I give my wife those flowers. So.
I don't know, Josh. I feel like you're missing the point here, and it's so obvious. And then it's that this movie is just bad. Take away.
You
all the
admitted, literally 30 minutes ago, that you enjoyed Transformers, Michael Bay's Transformers.
No.
Okay,
No,
let me
no.
finish.
I did
Let
say
me
it's
finish.
the better of all the movies. Did I say that?
You enjoyed it though, did you not?
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You took it for what it is.
Yeah, it's so easy to tell a Transformers movie, Josh. It's not that hard. You have Autobots and fucking Decepticons. You're good.
You refuse to enjoy it, to take this movie for what it is. I think this is a good movie, but at the same time, I enjoy it for what it is. Okay.
That's it.
No, I
This is
really
the-
do. I see where he's coming from, right? I don't think this is an Oscar-worthy movie. I don't put this on the same level as the Dark Knight series. I don't
Just-
put this on the
okay, well
same
then-
level as the Batman.
Just
okay?
admit what this is for you, Josh. A guilty pleasure.
It is a guilty
The
pleasure.
way you describe it
it's
is
a
it's
fucking
guilty-
good movie, though, too.
Yeah,
It's a
but
good guilty
more,
pleasure.
It's more guilty than pleasure. It's more guilty than pleasure, Josh.
I'm not sinning right
He was
now.
talking about this. This is an unexperienced, Superman, right? How the fuck did this Batman figure out his weakness in this fucking one movie? Then
Because if you actually watch the movie and you take the time to watch it,
Oh my God.
there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Batman's actually watching footage on Superman, and he's sitting there and he's just watching it.
Right. World's greatest detective. Yeah. Why didn't he just figure out where he lives and just be like, oh, he's just a normal guy, and he has a mom too, and her name is Martha. Oh, I'm not gonna fight him. Movie over. World's greatest detective, and it took him this long to find out that he has a mom
when
named
you
fucking
make
Martha,
a movie,
dude.
Alberto, and you let me know when that movie's made, I'll go buy that ticket and I'll watch it. You can do it the way that you want
Get
to
your
do it.
fucking popcorn, get your fucking King Soopers flowers, because you're gonna be giving them to me when I make that movie, Josh. I'm telling you, okay? Explain that to me. Well, why did it took so fucking long for Batman to figure out that Superman is just a regular? No, he's not a regular dude, but that he has a fucking mom. All the research in the world, the world's greatest detective, and it took him this long to find out. Oh, he has a mom, and her name is Martha.
Gotta take it for what it is. Maybe he was blinded by his
All right,
hate
Josh,
and
you
his
got-
actions.
look, here's the words you
You
have
know,
to stop using. You
maybe
have to-
he was going for what
No.
it is. Hey, this
This is like your way of absolving all like criticism, is you being like, just take it for what it is, or visual. You say that word a lot in this episode. It takes visually. It's visually.
this movie is
visually-
all about visual. It is. This movie
Right.
is visual.
Now finish that sentence. It's visual, and then what? Does it have storytelling? Is it a good? Does it have a good story?
Yeah, it does. I enjoy it.
What's about to happen, Josh? Tell the audience what's about to happen,
The Martha
tell me-
scene is coming up, Alberto.
and please tell me why that's good.
It's not good. I admitted it actually at the beginning of the
Right.
podcast. We
Right.
identified what is wrong in this movie.
And that's where the episode should have fucking ended, Josh. Come to the dark side. Come on. Hate this movie just as much as I do, dude. Come on. This is not that hard. Lex Luthor's fucking he sticks a Jolly Rancher in some guy's fucking mouth.
Shut the
Come
fuck
on.
up. You had a boner in that scene, dude. You enjoyed
Oh,
it.
right, yeah. And you had plenty of boners with Ben Affleck's ass, and then with
Hell
Superman
yeah. Have you
and
seen
his
that
fucking-
ass?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You're gay.
You know how we're resorting to these insults now, Josh.
We're getting petty. We're getting petty.
Now, look, in the end of the day, like I said, take away all the studio interference, all of that shit. This movie represents all the bad elements of what a Zack Snyder film is. There's other movies from Zack Snyder's filmography that are just leagues fucking better. Even Army of the Dead is better.
That is not a good movie.
Army of the Dead.
That is not a good movie.
At least there's a scene where Batista's talking to his fucking daughter, and it feels like there's emotion between the characters. He sacrifices himself, and you understand why he sacrifices himself.
Are you kidding me? That scene with Alfred telling him that he's telling Bruce Wayne that he's crossing the line, that is not emotion. That
You know-
he's
yo,
begging
okay.
and pleading with
I'm about to-
Batman and
Edgar,
saying,
I'm about-
"Why are you doing this? Do you understand
Okay,
what
okay,
you
okay,
are
okay.
doing?" And then Bruce Wayne has to explain to him that he cannot take one chance of this individual. Bottom one. He cannot take a chance with Superman going bad and destroying the world
Right.
and doing all of this.
Mhm.
Okay? I think you're in denial in seeing what is in front of you just because you hate Zack Snyder so much.
All right, yeah, sure,
Right?
sure, yeah, whatever. Look, listen, I'm gonna deviate from the Zack Snyder shit Okay, and I'm gonna, because Josh just said like, oh, it has emotion with Alfred and Bruce Wayne. I'm about to end this guy, okay? I want you to pay attention to it, okay? Going back to Matt Reeves, the Batman, okay?
Why do we have to compare it to another movie?
No,
In
no,
all
no.
honesty, why do we have to compare it to another movie?
I'm about to answer.
Okay.
I'm about to answer that
Because
question.
let's just be honest. How many times have I compared this to another movie?
That's not the point. We're already off the rails. We're already
Go ahead,
off the rails.
Alberto. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna compare the scene with Alfred and Batman or Bruce Wayne.
There's always going to be scenes with
Exactly,
it's
but that's
in
what
every-
I'm. Yeah, sure. There's a scene in the Batman where Alfred is revealing to Bruce Wayne what happened with his dad and all the fucking shady things going on and shit like that. And in the beginning of that scene, you see Bruce Wayne have some, Bruce have some kind of like resentment towards Alfred. Like, why did you keep this shit away from me, right? And all that kind of stuff. And towards the end, Alfred reveals to like, oh, well, you know, I didn't know what to do. You needed a father, Bruce, and I couldn't do that for you. I didn't know what to do, you know? And it's like, I could teach you how to fight, but what you needed was a father, Bruce. And Bruce, in this moment, he's like very vulnerable, and then he says this thing that connects with me after I saw it. He tells Alfred, like, I thought I got past it, Alfred. And he says, the fear. And you can almost hear, like, his voice is cracking. And he's like, this fear of, like, losing someone again. You know? And I thought I mastered it all. I thought I mastered the fear, and I didn't. And he said, that's the one thing that I don't want to do is lose someone again. And Alfred puts out his hand, and he holds his hand, and they reconcile in that moment. That's fucking emotion. That's emotion right there. Not that scene with Alfred being like, well, Master Bruce, you're going to kill someone. You got to stop now. And then, like, fucking Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck at this point.
You
There's a
sound like
1% chance, and we've got to take it. And
you sound like a Korean mother right now. Well, Edgar's kids do this. Well, Edgar does that. Well, Edgar's a doctor right now. Remember going back to the beginning of the topic where we were talking about how Marvel was at a peak, and this movie was getting a lot of hate because of the it wasn't similar to what a lot of the Marvel movies were doing. There was a lot of comparisons. Oh, Marvel is doing this. They have more comedy. They have this. It's enjoyable. It's lighter. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing right now. I have not once compared this to a movie. I'm talking about taking it as it is. You know, having an understanding of where the director is coming from. Okay?
Yeah.
And on top of it, I'm saying it's not a perfect movie. I critique the fuck out of this movie. I would probably change 50% of these movies. Lex Luthor, Doomsday, you know, and little things as well, right? But the things that I do enjoy of this movie, I take it for what it is because I have an idea of what Zack Snyder is going for.
And you might be the only person in the world that I guess understands what he's trying to do. But to say that, like, oh, I'm just taking it for what it is, it's like, to me, that just sounds like you're saying that it's just a guilty pleasure movie.
But that's the thing about movies in a nutshell and what make movies so great, right? And this is maybe a little bit off subject. This is like movies in a whole, right?
Yeah.
In our last podcast, we talked about greatest movies of all time. You know, how long was your list, genuinely?
Before we had done the podcast.
Yeah. So obviously you had 5, but how long?
I'll be honest, it was just like 10. Really.
10?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. How long was your list, Edgar? 10 as well, right? How many times did you guys change your top 5 around?
Me a few times.
Yeah, I changed mine a few times. I would
Right.
probably say I had more than 10, maybe 20. You know, I had a pretty decently long list, you know, and it is hard to justify what is a great movie. You know, what is the greatest movie of all time, you know, because you have so many different genres. It's very subjective to the director as well, right? Fan base, you know, if you don't like a director, to your point, you're not going to like their movie most likely, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you love a movie or a specific director, you're going to most likely love their movies majority of the time. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this is such a unique conversation as well, because, yeah, taking it for what it is, like, everybody's opinions on movies are so different, and that's what makes movies so interesting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what really is the greatest movie of all time?
Shawshank Redemption. No, yeah, we don't. Like,
It's hard to say.
uh-huh.
It's like saying LeBron James is the greatest of all time.
Mhm.
It's like saying Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. I can't really say that. They didn't play together. On top of it, they played different positions. They never, you know, and
Yeah.
so forth. You know, it's a hard argument, but it's an argument that's fun and unique. You know,
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, I'll admit, Batman v Superman is a guilty pleasure. I fucking love this series. You know,
Zack Snyder, like
I like the
Justice
Snyderverse.
Trailer. Yeah.
I like this. I like the Snyderverse. You know, I see where he's coming from. You know, but I will never choose to compare it to another movie. I don't think that's fair for any movie. And that's my thought process. You know,
Right.
it's like what's a good example? And I'm fearful of butchering this. Dune cannot be a great movie because it didn't have the fun and excitement as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
I think we do a lot of that.
Where we feel like it has to be this.
It's catered
thing.
to us,
It
right?
has to be like
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we as humans, we always want to be fed, right? We always want to be, we need our needs to be taken care of, you know.
And sometimes you just want.
You just
a
want
lot.
more.
You want to.
You want more, and I think from your aspect, Alberto, I don't think this movie fed your needs, and you wanted more. It wasn't your Superman.
No, I mean, I'll end it with this. What I wanted was Batman versus Superman, because it's what it's called. Even Zack Snyder did, like, he
They
wrote.
gave
he
it
wrote
to you,
this thing.
man. Yeah, it was only like 15 minutes long.
That's
maybe,
the problem. How many times? No.
Did you feel the tension for the last 2.5 hours?
Fuck, I didn't feel the tension at all, Josh.
No.
But see, that's the thing is, like, you kind of have to compare it with the thing that came out shortly after, which is Captain America: Civil War.
No.
You kind of do that because it's the
No.
same kind of fucking. It has the
No,
same premise.
absolutely fucking not. You
Yes,
don't
it
have
does.
to.
Yes, you
It's-
kind of do, Josh.
You're telling me that you have to compare Marvel to DC?
Everyone's been doing it. Everyone has been doing it, Josh. That's like the
No.
argument to end all arguments. Is like
That's
Marvel
that's
versus
like
DC.
saying that I refuse to like DC because of Marvel.
I think each one elevates the other, Josh.
No, I disagree.
Do you disagree?
I disagree.
What tone were they going for shortly after this? They were
What do you
going. They were going for like the whole Marvelization.
Yeah,
of
it was
DC.
called the Josh Whedon cut, which Alberto loves.
But even Zack Snyder's Justice League had more fucking humor than this.
Yeah,
fucking
so
piece of
because to a degree, right? We do take some feedback, like the whole Captain America and Hydra thing, right?
crap. Yeah.
We want to at least give the people what they want to a degree. You know, it still had more strong elements of Zack Snyder's, right? But art is we learn as we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, art is subjected to the feedback that we are given,
Right.
you know. And just unfortunately in this scenario, it was a very toxic scenario, you know. And I'm not
It's
saying
made
that crutched this movie from being terrible or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that or anything like that, but like there was like like I hate the fucking like oh Marvel versus DC, Marvel versus like why can't you fucking like both? Why can't you fucking like both?
Yeah, we
You
do.
guys, I know you guys do.
And that's
you know,
why I say
but-
they elevate each other, Josh. That's what I'm saying is that they both, Marvel and DC, Jack Kirby worked for fucking both.
Yeah.
He
Jim Lee.
elevated both.
Jim Lee elevated
Frank
both.
Miller elevated The Dark Knight, and he did Daredevil.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm comparing Captain America versus with Batman v Superman, because one did it better than the other, and Zack Snyder should have fucking learned from that if he wanted to continue his universe. You say that you're like, oh, I understand where Zack Snyder was coming from, but not that long ago in this episode, you were just like, oh, Zack Snyder talked about in Joe Rogan's podcast that he shot the guy in the head, but actually that's not what happened. It's like, so you admit that not even Zack Snyder knows what he's trying to do.
No, he doesn't.
So then why do you understand it?
I don't.
That's like
don't.
that's like someone being confused about
That's
what's
what
going
I'm
on.
saying is that
And
I'm
I get where
taking
you're
it for
going
what
with
it is. I'm taking for what it. I'm not saying like, oh man, I can't like this movie because this isn't my Superman. This isn't my Batman. He's overstepping. He's doing this, right? I'm taking the art for what it is.
But the art is fucking shit. Look, Zack Snyder might be a great person, and like I said, I'll give him his flowers from King Soopers. He has elements in his movies that are like genuinely, there's some glimmers of like good shit in his fucking movies. But for people like you to say that, like, well, I take it for what it is, that's like enabling Zack Snyder to continue to do the shit that he's fucking doing.
And he will. And
Right.
he will.
And
he's
it's
going
terrible.
he's going to continue to make movies.
And shouldn't we criticize that so that he gets better? Should we not criticize it so he gets better?
Obviously
Even-
not, because have you seen Rebel Moon, by the way?
Just terrible.
Did you really watch it?
No, I didn't see it. Come on, Josh.
I actually watched it. It's pretty
You got a hard one for fucking Zack Snyder.
yeah,
you know?
6 hours, man.
No, but like even his own fan base, like the same fan base that brought the Snyder cut together, is the same fucking fan base that like I think at the same time boycotted. What was it? There was some shit going on with the actor from Cyborg, that he had some shit going on with him and Joss Whedon. And
Yeah,
then-
there was like apparently
yeah,
some
and
like
the fan
racial.
base was like,
yeah.
the fan base was like, let's boycott the movies. What did that end up doing? It canceled Batgirl. It ended up fucking like canceling all these projects, the ones that the supposed fans wanted Zack Snyder to continue going. How can you be like revive the Snyder cut, but only the ones that we want be revived? We want Snyder.
I'm
Snyder
pretty
cut,
sure.
but
Actually, I heard Batgirl was actually not released because of tax purposes.
do you really believe that though?
I don't know what to believe.
Apparently you don't. I mean, you can't
no,
even distinguish what a good
that's
movie
what
and
I'm
bad
saying.
movie is.
Like, you got to take it at face value, right? I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not a fan of these movies because I was riding the coattails of the Snyder release the hashtag release the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
I saw this movie from the get-go and I enjoyed it. You know, now
From the
to
even
be
when you first saw it.
let me take that back
Okay.
until the Ultimate Edition came out.
Oh, the
Okay.
director's cut.
Yeah,
Right.
you know. Oh, because nobody has a director cut out there. You're like, come on, man.
Not as many as this fuckhead. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, right. And then the one cuss word that he dropped because Zack Snyder's edgy.
They added an extra 30 minutes to this movie, man.
Yeah, of not exactly. Thank you. Of nothing.
You don't even know. You didn't even watch the movie, Edgar. When? 2 years ago? Yeah.
And honestly, that's fine because this it's not like anything fucking changed between 2016 and 2023. It is therefore. I mean,
Dude, you, out of the three of us, you have not been able to take your eyes off this movie. You have been watching this movie more than me, and I actually like this movie.
you want to know? You want to know why? It's on mute, so he can enjoy the visual storytelling. Josh.
Sorry, but shit.
Oh, man.
All right, I think we're running out of gas, both of us. Any closing arguments, guys, or?
All right,
I will still say it's a
Look,
good movie in my
this is how
opinion.
I'm going to end it, okay? Where's Dude, Where's Our Car has a fucking at least a story in it. This shit doesn't. I'm done.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because those movies are so comparable. Yeah, that's.
All right, here's one that's comparable. The fucking Power Rangers movie that came out, the live action one, like in 2017, better than this.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, better than this, Josh.
And this is a great movie too. Top 5.
Oh, now you're saying it's
Top
great.
5. Batman v Superman, Power Rangers.
Somebody get this man to bed because he just said this movie's great. It went from good to great in the span of a minute. Okay.
Jesus Lord, man.
Look, I think we can all agree to disagree. Okay.
We're no
Josh,
longer friends.
This is the last episode, including Josh.
I fucking hate you, man.
No. How do we end this? I don't agree to disagree, Josh. I mean,
I'm thinking about kicking you in the balls, and then
just go ahead and you know what? I'm gonna wait for those. I'm gonna wait for those King Soopers flowers, Josh, because I think I won this argument, dude.
I just wish and hope that you stop comparing things to one another, because it's just going to let you down.
We
in
live
the
in a
future.
society, Josh. We're going to compare things. It's you compare Irredeemable to Invincible and all this other shit when we talked about unappreciated comic books.
I don't know.
Is that now invalid?
Stop
now?
living in the past, Alberto.
You're living in the past
Stop
with this
living in the
fucking
past.
shit, dude.
What are you talking about? I'm watching it right now, in the now.
In the on mute, by the way. Let's add that caveat.
First off, let me just kind of throw in there, when I called Alberto and said, "Hey man, you guys should come over to my house," Alberto did state, "Yeah, maybe we can have Batman v Superman running in the back in mute." Shut the fuck up! You said it.
No. You said.
Shut the fuck up! You said it.
No, he was pampering me. He was like, "I can get some pizzas. Maybe I'll play the movie, and we can have a great time."
All I said was, "I'll get the pizzas," and then you were like, "Play it in the background and put it on mute."
And you're like, "Is Little Caesars fine?"
And then Edgar was like, "Yes."
It's like, just to let you know, I'm gonna have a boner during the part where Ben Affleck's ass shows up. Okay, just let you know.
Just to be fair, the three of us did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's the one thing we can agree on is
Yes.
that Ben Affleck's ass. Give that man his flowers. Okay. Yeah, look, Zack Snyder. I know I kind of shat on him a lot in this episode, but I do think he might be a cool guy, but as a director, I just don't think he.
I love how you cringed when you said he was a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I did shit on the guy for about almost 2 hours, but yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I don't think you've convinced me in enjoying Batman v Superman, which is crazy because this has been the thing that you wanted to talk about for so long, and my opinion has not.
Let's be honest.
changed.
Okay, this wasn't my want. This was all of us. We all wanted to have this discussion.
That is true.
That
is true.
And I'm happy that we did. Yeah. Even though this was a little sloppy, even though we were all over the place, this was hella fun. So.
And at the end of the day, I think that's the whole point, is that we just had fun. And hopefully the people who did listen to this also had a great time. You're valid in enjoying it. You're also valid in not enjoying it, the people who are listening to the episode. We might do more of these types of discussions. No, not with this movie. We might do other movies. That'd be great. I did enjoy this type of format. We forgot to mention we are recording in Josh's place this time, so thank you, Josh, for having us over.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting to do this in every episode, but just follow us on our socials. You can listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube and everything. One thing we did forget to do, which we might still do, I don't know. We'll see. We were going to do a poll for this movie for all 28 people who listen to our podcast to see if definitively what is it good or is it bad, but who knows, we might still do it, I don't know. But thank you guys for listening to the podcast. This has been Two Brothers.
Josh?
You messed it up. It's and friend, Josh. Okay, it's and friend.
I never agreed to that.
Can I tell you something? This is gonna be a scoop for everyone listening. I made a theme song that has all of us, and Maurice included, and it you know the end of the theme song was like, it's called Two Brothers, and stuff like that. And I put and a black guy, and then at the end I put and friend. So that is what you're now known as, Josh. Is
all right. I have officially accepted it with regret, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Damn, it's only been an hour and 44. It's our shortest episode.
Well, keep in mind we did
We did an intermission.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be back. This has been fun. I want to do more episodes with Josh like this. So, yeah, it's been Two Brothers. Get it right, Josh? Go ahead. It's been Two Brothers.
And friends.
That's right.